Alright, hello everybody, this is Jesse with Iowa Audio Review. Finally got time to work on these Sansui SP1500s a little more, and I think somewhere around the end of the last video figured out the squawkers, the smaller squawker, whatever. It was bad in both of them. This woofer was not working in this one. The woofer in the other one works fine. This was the worst of the two. This one, the woofer didn't work, and the smaller squawker didn't work. The other one, just the squawker was bad. But I had to, still had to pull the crossovers out and address why this woofer wasn't working. And I think I showed it in the end of the other video, but this lead, oops, yeah, it's hard to do this while holding the camera. This lead right here, this guy had come unconnected from the cone here where it leads through down behind the dust cap into the voice coil. Ugh, can't get any good light on it. There we go. But yeah, I was actually able to very carefully, I don't know if you can see it very well or not up in there. Camera doesn't want to focus on it. I'll get another light on it here. Can't really tell. You can see it better from this side. I don't know, you can kind of tell it was broken, but I was able to resolder it very carefully. So, and it seems to be working fine now. And I just can't get in there very well. And the camera doesn't want to focus on it. There. But anyway, that's back on and it's working fine now. And then I hooked up each tweeter in this all individually to, each one individually to make sure they're all working fine. They all seem to be working perfectly fine. And then, let's see. Get this light back out so you can see in there. The crossover, I just had it out. I'll do a close-up on the other one. But inspected all the caps, and obviously the inductors are fine. They weren't even really dirty or nothing. All the connections are solid. All the glue holding everything in place was still good. The biggest problem was the contacts on the switches were corroded pretty bad. But I'll do another short video when I pull the other crossover out so you can see those closer. Then there's just these 4 nuts in each corner of the in there that hold the whole crossover in. And yeah, you can pretty much undo those and the whole crossover can come out. I was originally thinking I was going to take the whole back of the speaker off. I don't know why. And then the only one that was kind of a pain in the butt to get to was the one way up in the top corner up there. I don't know if you can see it through the porthole here. There. There's one screw back there. So I had to whip out this sucker, my long bendy, and I was able, this actually reaches, I don't know if you can see it up in there, but this actually was able to reach up in there. Anyway. And that's where I'm at. I just got this crossover and everything all cleaned up, worked out. That woofer's fixed. It's going to go back in. We're going to get everything back in. The guy that owns these is actually, he found another pair of these at work, and he's going to be getting them to me soon so I can get those put back in. But I'm going to get the woofer put back in for now and just test them without the smaller squawker. And so far they sound pretty good. I can't wait. I kind of want to get them done just to have a listen, kind of compare them to the AR2AX as I did. And then even after that, I got a pair of Sansui SP1500s for the same guy. That'll be repairing that. Well, should be fun to listen to. But I'm going to get back to work. Until then, well, probably be next clip. I don't know. I'll get that clip of the crossovers in. Okay, This is the other SP1500. This one, really the only thing that was wrong with it was the smaller squawker was bad, and the switches on the back here would crackle a lot when you switch them around. And I already cleaned up the other one, but I figured I would show you what I'm doing on this one to get them to work again. I've already inspected all the caps on this one too. They all look fine. All the solder points, everything looks fine. But the main thing that I'm finding on both of these that's causing the crackling and distortion is these contacts on the switches are all dirty or corroded. As you can see, oops, over here on this one, you can kind of see the shiny areas here. If I get to focus, where I've cleaned, like, see how there's like this black corrosion on, on everything, all the contacts all the way around. Kind of like this one. I haven't cleaned this one at all yet. This black corrosion is on everything. I'll scratch some off here. You can kind of see. And yeah, once I scratch that off, you can see this one. I already got it all scratched off where the contacts are. And there's two levels or two layers, whatever, however you want to look at it. Because there's the harder ones to get to are down in here, this guy and this guy over here. There's another, I don't know, disc down here that when you turn it makes contacts with these lower, we'll just call them little fingers that pinch. That's the other thing, these little metal fingers that there's a top one and a bottom one, and they pinch this as it makes contact, like this little tab. Oops, turn the wrong one. Let's see if I can get it to turn here. The little tabs that move between the fingers to make different contacts to go through different components, you know, in the crossover. Yeah, these sometimes, the other one, it was this one, was bent completely up. It wasn't even touching here. I had to bend that back down, and then all these other ones from over the years, I kind of just pressed back down on them and kind of bend them all back down a little bit. So as this turns, as this little notch moves between all of them, it actually makes good contact. But other than that, it's just scraping it clean. I've been using some of the WD-40 contact cleaner on it. It helps a little bit, but it don't seem to really take this black stuff off. The best way to get it off is just use like I've been using this X-Acto knife and some tweezers and just scraping all the corrosion off and getting it cleaned up. And I'll keep doing that and switching between the different modes, we'll say, to make sure it switches between all of them fairly clearly. It's going to crackle and maybe skip a beat in between because it is just a mechanical switch. But it's the fact that you can set it to any of the modes and you don't have to like wiggle the knob to get it to come through clearly. Other than that, yeah, the both tweeters in this one work fine. The larger mid or squonker works fine. The woofer in this one, this is actually in better shape. It works fine. Yeah, just gonna get this crossover cleaned up, put back in there, and one of these days I should be getting other squawkers. I can get those. I probably won't. I don't know if I'll make a video putting those in because it's basically this yellow wire right here runs to it, and it's basically just a matter of stripping those wires and soldering it like onto the leads, kind of like how this one is. You know. Some of you may already know all this stuff about fixing speakers, but this is more for the person who has a set of these and they like them, but they don't work very well, and they want to tear them apart and fix them. If you're not replacing old deteriorated drivers, you're probably going to be cleaning these contacts and you know, checking all the solder points on everything. Check all your caps, make sure none of them are swollen or the ends are popped out or leaking anything, you know, and kind of go over all that stuff, and you get them back together. Well, as we'll see, I'd like to, once I get it back together, hook these up and see how they sound, see if they sound better than the Acoustic Research AR2AXs I did, or you know, or see how they kind of compare to my not brand new, but much newer Paradigm 9SE MK3s. But I'm gonna get back to work, and I'll be back when they're all put together. I forgot to show, as far as these little fingers here, how I'm cleaning in between them and the kind of the metal disc here, at least on top, is I'm just taking a piece of, I don't even remember, I think this is like 200-ish, 240 or something sandpaper, and just placing it in between like that, and kind of move it back and forth in there in between each one of these contacts on all of them, just so you're getting at least, because I can't get, there is, like I said, there's a finger that kind of pinches on both sides of that disc. I can't get to the one underneath, but at least running the sandpaper in between there, at least is cleaning the bottom side of this, making a clean contact with that. I figured I'd just show you that, just in case anybody was wondering if you're working on something like this.